The data structure for notifications is basically the same, regardless of the notification system that you're building. Let's jump into the database and create our notifications data type. So under data types, I'm going to create a new type called notification. Notification will have body, that is the message that the person will read. It will have a seen field, which is a Boolean or a yes/no field. And we'll use this field to show and hide notifications. So when the notification has been seen, then we change data to yes, which means it won't persist or always show in that notification list. Now I've gone ahead and created a social media feed, and you can find this in a different tutorial, but this is a perfect opportunity to create notifications when someone comments on a post. So what I'm going to do in notifications is also create a field and a recipient. And a recipient is simply a single user. Now over in the data tab, grab an icon. I'm going to look for a bell. And I'm going to choose this one with the outline. Going to remove the style and just change this to gray. And move it to the right hand side. Currently I have a group which is fixed width, just for demonstration purposes. Let me put this in the corner. Then I'm going to grab a group, and the group will just be the little notification that something's changed, some data. I'm going to remove the style, flat color, and red. Okay, so this little icon will show when a user has an unseen notification. Let's make this a perfect circle and make it fixed width. So this is group notice. Now I'm just going to position this where I'd like it using my keypad, and that looks fine. Now I'm going to group them both. So highlight group notice, highlight the bell, group elements in a group. Perfect. So what we want to do is on this group notice, which is an indicator if we have a new notification. This could also be a group with a number in it, and you just do a search for number of notifications. But in this instance, we'll keep it simple. We'll just show this red dot when there's a new unseen notification. And I'm going to uncheck visible on page load for this, because we only want it visible on a condition. The condition states that when do a search for notifications, now we're going to say search for notifications where the recipient equals the current user. The recipient is a user basically. So this is saying look for notifications where I'm the recipient in that notification. Also, look for notifications when seen equals no. So if I haven't seen the notice and I'm attached to the recipient, then show this dot. Okay, and how do we finish this expression? Well, we say find the notifications, get the count, and if that count is greater than 0, so there's one or more, then show that group notice. Now, what about the workflow to create this notice? So I have a social media feed where we write a comment. That comment is fired from an invisible button because that button will fire when we just hit enter. If you have an input in the same group as a button, then you can just use enter to run that button, the workflow on the button. So let's have a look at what happens. So we create a new comment, we add the comment to a post, we reset the relevant inputs, which is that input, and then we hide that group. What I'm also going to do is say, create a new thing. We want to create a new row in the database. We want to create a new notification. Now this needs to target the recipient, which is the post creator. So parent group's post creator. So if this is the post, and I created this post, if someone writes a comment on the post, me being the post creator needs to get the notification. Now seen is no by default, so we don't need to do anything here. And this is where we construct the message of the notification. So what about if we say current user's full name, and then we just type out the rest of the message. Commented on your post, space, and now we can say the post's body. So if we refresh this, and I left a comment here, the comment will say, I'm currently logged in as Caleb Carrera. This is a bad example. If I commented on Kevin Collard and I said, this sounds awesome, we would grab the post creator's full name, Kevin Collard. Then we'll do this bit here, commented on your post. And now we're looking for parent group's post body. The body of this post is, I really love learning new things. So this would read, Caleb Carrera commented on your post, I really love new things. And we would see that in a repeating group here. Okay, so we've got two pieces of dynamic data. And then in the middle, we've got just some static stuff we've written on the keypad. This message, you can change this to anything. Commented on your post, commented on your comment, commented on your task, sent you a message, that kind of thing. Let's make sure that we have some data being created. So if I leave a comment here, please let me know when this happens. Now we go over to the data and we look at notifications. Here we can see is the body. Caleb Carrera commented on your post, I'm really enjoying how to teach bubble technology. The recipient is Billy Bryson that created the original post. Seen by default as no. Okay, the other thing I might do is on step 5, when I create this notification, I might just put this in bold, the last piece, just so it stands out. So I use brackets with B, and then I close those brackets like that. I'm just going to update this piece in the database to be the same. Okay. What about displaying this notice? Now this comment was left for Billy Bryson. So why don't we log in as Billy Bryson, and we should actually see the little red dot. So I've got some users here and Billy Bryson is at the top. Let me run as Billy Bryson. Okay, brilliant. We've got the little red dot. Let's also change the icon as well. Why don't we change the icon? What we'll do is copy the conditional on the red dot because it's the same condition. And then we can paste it on the bell. And then we can say, change the icon to maybe a solid bell and also change the color and make it green. Fantastic. Now, how do we read this notification? So I'm going to grab a group focus, drop it about there. Actually, we need to attach it to this group, don't we? Group notice. So then I can click on the group focus, and the reference element is group notice, which is that one there. Let's set the offset to minus 200. I'm just guessing here, 240, 220. I'm trying to line it up here. That's fine. And let's bring it down a bit to about 10. I'm just going to set the styling similar to the groups beneath it. So that is 10 on roundness, and it's flat color. And why don't we add some shadow? I'm going to change the box shadow to jet black and just bring this down to about 10%. And then this can be about 16. Okay, I'm happy with that. So how do we display notifications? And we display them in a repeating group. So if I drag a repeating group in this group focus, we can set the type of content to notification. And then we need to do a search for notifications where the recipient equals current user. So here we go, do a search for notifications. Add the constraint, recipient equals current user. And then you can set your layout style. I prefer vertical scroll. I don't want this to grow too much. I'm going to set this to 2 rows. In reality, this might be twice the height because this will only show 2 posts now. So you'll have it maybe twice the height. But for demonstration purposes, I'm pretty happy with that. I'm going to change this to EB, 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 and 100%. Okay, that's the styling on the repeating group. Now I'm going to grab an image. Now I'm going to just copy and paste a round image from this post into this repeating group in the group focus. I'm going to center vertically and just bring it across a bit. This image will serve as the person that created the notification, so the person that commented on the post. Let's make this a bit smaller, 24 by 24. And you can look at the settings here to see how I created a perfect circle. I processed the image with ImageIX, resized to fit dimensions by cropping, run mode rendering stretch, and then set the roundness and fixed width. Started with a perfect square. Okay, now we can drop in the text, which is the body of the notice. I'm going to make that double height. Drop it about there. And this will be the current sales notifications body. Now I'm going to remove the style because I want it 2 lines tall. So that could be 1.2. I don't want it to be vertically aligned because I want it to drop down to 2. When it does drop down to the second row, I don't want it to display anymore. Just because we are displaying what could be a really long post, we only want to show a snippet of that post. So I'm going to check this box here, and that will cut off the text once it gets to the second row here. Okay, you need to play with these settings slightly to make sure that everything fits. Okay, brilliant. Now, how do we show this group focus? Well, on the group holding both the icon and the red dot, we run the workflow in that group there. And why don't we do a nice little animation, element actions animate, and we can fade in. Sorry, we have to select the element is the group focus, and we can fade in. Maybe change the duration to 400, 500 is a bit long. Let's see what this looks like. So I'm currently logged in as Billy Bryson. I should have one notification. And if I check this, if I click this, there is Caleb Carrera, and there is the text. Now this text is a little bit large, and also we need a way just to mark a notification as seen, basically because we've seen it. There are various UX things we could do here. If we had Messenger functionality, this notification could take us to Messenger and load the message pertaining to that notification. With the social feed, we could scroll down to the particular post. There are lots of things we could do here. But now we're just going to create an icon where we could clear the notification because basically we've seen it. So first of all, I'm just going to change this down to 14 pixels. Okay. Center vertically. And then I'm going to grab an icon, use any icon you like. I'm going to choose this one here, material icon close. Going to just align that on the page. And I'm just going to say, when that icon is clicked, then make changes to thing. The thing to change is the current sales notice. And that's when we change seen equals yes. Okay, we're not going to run that quite yet. I'd like to create another notice. The other thing we need to do is when you have no notifications, well, we need a null state. And I have another video on how to create null states. So we show a null state when we have no notifications. We don't just show a blank box. We just show a null state and it says no notifications. So to do that is quite easy. We just drop in a group, just draw it not in the cell, but on top of the entire repeating group. Remove the style, set that to just a flat color. This is null and is not visible on page load. And we need to set a conditional that refers to the repeating group, so repeating group notification. When that list of notifications count, and then we say is 0, that's when we show the group null state. Okay, let's finish off this group. So I think it needs to have roundness of 10, much like the group focus. You can push that out to the sides. Then we can drop in this bell icon here. I'm going to copy it here, paste it. And I'm going to grab some text as well. Just write no notifications. And I'm just going to do some quick styling. Make that 15. Center align that, group it with the bell. And then center align vertically, center horizontally. And that's all we need to do for that. So when the repeating group list of notifications is 0, show this group. Just make sure that the group null is not visible on page load. I'm going to create one more comment. So we're logged in as Billy Bryson and we have a comment. Let's log in as another person, Vivian Thomas. And let's also leave a comment. So now Billy Bryson will have 2 unseen notifications. So if we log back in as Billy, we now have 2 notifications, and we can mark them as seen. The other thing we need to do, so this is working with no notifications. We also have to say that we only want to see search for notifications where seen equals no. We don't want to see notifications that we have marked as we've already seen them. So now we should get that null state kicking in. And there we go, no notifications. So go ahead and create your own notification system, and you can implement this in social feeds, task managers, messenger apps, basically any kind of system where you need to notify a person that their attention is needed somewhere in the application. Enjoy.